Alright, first and foremost, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakadash.
We want to give double honors to the elders, the apostles of GMS, the great millstone, who rule well. You know, the elders teach and continue to teach us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the Bayaf Dawada, and turn the house of David that's currently being risen up in these last days. Alright, just a small portion of the GMS Boston camp, and Lord willing, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, this is edifying. You know, through the Spirit, the Lord brought us here together, and it's a beautiful time, 2020, the year of prophecy, to, you know, just to be able to be in the know. You know, the Lord said, get Amos chapter 3, verse 7 real quick. Just a beautiful time to be in the know, to be amongst beautiful spirits. When you look at it spiritually, these are these old ancient spirits that are getting back together and doing what? You know, building up the tabernacles of David, that third temple, which is indeed a spiritual temple. And through the Spirit, this temple is not going to be destroyed by no Babylonians or by no Romans. You know, this temple is going to be, that we're building is leading to an everlasting kingdom, an everlasting dominion that's going to be given to Yahweh Shai. And he's going to, the elect will be joint heirs in Aaron Tazar. You know, we are part of this. This is why we do the work. This is why we do the ministry. We work hard to be what? To be found worthy to be delivered from the destruction that is to come to America. That burning wrath is over this place. And through the Spirit, we're going to run through some articles and go through some news articles and just, you know, be news anchors, be those media watchmen. Stand on our tower. No, it's okay, bro. Stand on our tower and watch. And what are we watching for? We're watching for the prophecies, man. The Spirit of the Lord is the Spirit of prophecy. We're watching and waiting for the destruction. And we're not just watching, we're giving warning. Because you got people that are watching and they're not giving warning to certain things that is to come. So for instance, you have IUIC, they say, which you have guys that say that we're hating, they're not giving you warning about the vaccination that the global elites through Bill Gates, which is the face of this whole agenda of giving our people first, according to Melinda Gates out of her own mouth, starting with the minorities, so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, which we know, we're telling you that those vaccinations are nothing but poison. All right, we're giving you warning of what? The RFID microchip, which can only be the mark of the beast according to the scriptures. You know, it couldn't be anything else. What John saw in that revelation that was revealed to him was a prophecy of this RFID microchip, which serves as a tracking device, as a mechanism to buy and to sell, to identification chip, all right, which is in the book of Revelation, the root word of Revelation meaning to reveal. So these things were revealed to us, but through Yahweh, all right, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and it's in the book of Amos. Get the book of Amos so you can get the book of Ezekiel.
Amos 3:7 says, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets.
Yeah, so the Heavenly Father revealed his secrets unto his servants the prophets. And what did Yahweh Shai say? Give me that real quick, one war. He said, ye are my friends. Right? Yes. And he's everything that he received of his father, he's given to us. So there's men on the planet that's not going to bend a knee to Baal because we're rooted and we're built up in the Spirit. You see? So when that pressure hits us, what we're doing is, this is basic training. We're preparing ourselves for when it hit the fans. And when it hit the fans, through the Spirit, man, we're able to stand firm in our beliefs. Like you have this guy Nick Cannon who mentioned some things, and when the pressure got a little heavy and the water got a little hot, he apologized. He bailed out, right? Why? Because he wasn't built up. He wasn't rooted in the Spirit. He didn't count the cost, right? But through the Spirit, the Heavenly Father said he left 7,000 men that wasn't gonna bend the knee to Baal. We ain't sitting across the table with no goddamn Amalekites or no fake Jews that stole our religion, our history, our heritage, financed the slave trade, and put us in a predicament that they're in. They're the rulers of this earth. That's taking an alliance with the rulers of the dark side. Right. See, we ain't about that. We gonna stand for the truth. The scriptures say what? Stand for the truth, and the Lord shall fight for you. And we pray that the Lord fight for us, man, because we stand for the truth. Go ahead, Bonawa.
Says John 15, verse 13, greater love had no man than this, and a man laid down his life for his friends.
Yeah, so when you consider the brotherhood that's being built up through the Spirit and the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. Through the Spirit, we are ready to die for one another, man. We are, because why? We're living for one another. And what proves that is the fact that every Sunday, what are we doing? We're making our bodies a living sacrifice. And we do this all together. We in this together. On the front lines in the spiritual warfare. And guess what? We through the Spirit, we kicking ass, man. We doing our thing. Why? Because the dialogue in America is changing. Why? Because through the Spirit, what the head apostles the vibration that they're pushing out is getting into the ears of Nick Cannon. And guess what? Now the mainstream media is forced to deal with this. The firing of Nick Cannon, that was on MSNBC. That was on Fox News. That was on ABC.
Yeah, can I say this?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Every little bit counts, man. Okay? Even though he rejected the philosophies or the doctrines of Yahweh Shai, guess what? Now the people that were supposed to hear it, now they're even more intrigued by this dummy coming out and saying things that he know not about.
More,
it says
more
it in the
seeds being
scriptures.
planted, you know?
Yeah. It says it in the scriptures that speak about things that you know of, you know? And he didn't know about it. And that's why he copped out and he bowed down to that rabbi when he came. Okay? Which we all knew that was going to happen anyways, you know?
Con. Yep. Go ahead, brother. Corral.
This is Psalms 94
Yep.
and 16. It says, who will rise up for me against the evildoers, or who will stand up against the workers of iniquity?
Right, so to Heavenly Father left for men. Give me 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 8 real quick, and hold that scripture for me real quick. Because that's David, right? And David's asking a question. David's looking at what's happening on earth, and you can imagine it wasn't just David who saw the end times. Ezra saw it, right? Ezekiel saw it. All the prophets saw the end time. Even Moses. Moses revealed everything. And he must have looked at the wickedness that took place on the earth. Hey, shalom, Mark. He must have looked at the wickedness and he posed that question. Like, damn, who's going to stand up to the evildoers? He's seen that prophecy of Job 9 and 24, the earth being given unto the hands of the wicked, right?
Going back to Psalm 94, you said 2 Corinthians.
Well, who got 2 Corinthians?
I got it.
Yep.
2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 8. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth.
Right. So with Nick, that's backing what the brother Taliyah just said. You know, even though he apologized for it, through the Spirit, that's going to tickle somebody's ears to get inquisitive into find out information concerning what Nick Cannon said, man. Concerning the true identity of the so-called African American, the so-called Puerto Rican, which are the Ephraimites, the so-called Native American, which is the tribe of Gad and the tribe of Reuben. That's going to get them inquisitive to what Nick Cannon is talking about, and also to consider Esau Edom, which is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Nick Cannon didn't say no lies, all right, and concerning what he said. Go back to the book of Psalms, Baba Kashab.
So Psalms 94, 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers?
Yep.
And who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?
Yeah, and who's the work of iniquity? Esau Edom. Going back to the book of Malachi, it says that they will call Esau the border of wickedness, man. All right, going back to the book of First Maccabees, what does it say? 1 verse 7, that wickedness was multiplied upon the earth when these people took power, and they've been in power ever since. You know, that Roman kingdom, that bruise was destroyed, but then they built it back up, and now they're back in power. All right, they was given that authority for a little season, and now what's happening? They're at the end of their rope. And when you look up that turn, matter of fact, look that turn up for me real quick. The end of the rope, right? Because the rope is symbolic or significant of a lifesaver. So when you're in the ocean and you're drowning, the term "throw me a rope" is basically help me out to save me. But when you're at the end of your rope, right? There's no salvation for you. There's nobody coming to help you, right? You got that, brother?
Go ahead. I got it here if you want.
Yep, go ahead, brother.
Definition of the end of one's rope: a state in which one is not able to deal with a problem, difficult decision, etc. any longer. It was clear from her outburst that she was at the end of the rope.
Now, what does this scripture say in the book of Job? That in the significance of his fullness, it shall be in straits. And what's straits? A position of difficulty.
With the synonyms.
Yep,
It
beautiful.
says, antsy, being the world, idiom, be in, get into a lather, dementedly, highly strung, hot under the collar, hyperactive.
Is that end of the rope?
Yeah, these are the synonyms for them. Yep. Hyperactive, hysteria, hysterical, overwrought, shakeable, shockable, slay, squeamish, squeamishly, world. See?
Go
And
ahead.
that's all the definitions of a person at the end of their rope. Like Esau, Edom, and Job.
Desperate. Yeah.
In Job, it says that his steps shall be straight.
Right.
Right, and you know-
Which is a position of difficulty.
You know when somebody's in desperate, or if you're desperately leaving a place, you make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, you leave things behind, you forget things.
Sloppy.
You're sloppy with it. That's exactly what's happening with Esau. He's getting too sloppy.
Yeah,
all these
haste makes
whistleblowers,
waste.
everything that's coming out, all these people exposing it.
Same
Man.
thing.
Too many breadcrumbs being left behind.
Yeah,
man.
Joe. A trail, right? Leaving fingerprints everywhere. Hey, and it goes into the article that the brother was talking about of Jeffrey Epstein, the judge.
Oh, that got killed.
Yeah. You know, now it's like, it's clear as hell that
Who would
there's a
do
cover
that?
up.
Who would do that?
Yeah.
And who has access to world conglomerate uniforms, trucks?
That's a federal. That was a FedEx is
It's
federal.
federal.
It's federal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
know?
Who
Yeah.
has that type of power or momentum behind them to actually pull off something like this? This is like a goddamn what's that? The video game
Hitman.
Hitman.
Come on.
It's that same
It's a
shit.
message.
It's a message.
It's a message.
Okay, we need you to let this fly over, ma'am. And since you said that you're not going to let it do it, and you think you're going to do things to the full extent, we got your son now.
Right.
He's going. You could be next.
Yep. So what you got, Job?
Yeah, Con.
Yep.
Job 20, verse 22.
Yep.
In the fullness of his sufficiency, he
Yeah.
shall be in straits.
So there's a time where there's only so much you can eat before you begin to regurgitate what you eat. When you're throwing up, it's because it's your body rejecting the food, or people they'll drink alcohol and they'll start to throw up. What your body is doing is it's rejecting the alcohol because it's purging itself, it's cleansing itself, and naturally what's happening on earth is, the earth is regurgitating the system that Esau Edom set up because it does not work.
It's a criminal enterprise, man. The so-called white man has built the biggest criminal enterprise ever. Not the mob, not the you could send out any gang. They got nothing on the so-called white man. And we're seeing it, the elaborate scheme of things. With the judge, with this, that, and the third, trying to cover up. Epstein got hung. Come on, man, you got Epstein being hung in federal prison.
The rabbit hole,
The
runs
pizza
deep.
gate, the pizza
runs
gate.
deep.
He's a so-called white man is a criminal, man.
I got a precept. It's Proverbs 29:1. It says, "He that being often reproved hardened his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, people mourn." Okay, and that's basically what Esau Edom is doing, man. He's showing his hand, so to speak. All his cards are out. Okay, we know that this society is a wickedly ran place because, like you said, all these things going on with pedophilia, these child pornography rings, killing of witnesses or their family members easily. And who are we supposed to turn to? We're not supposed to think none the wiser that so-called Edom is the one that's doing all this to everybody. Okay?
I got 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. Now beseech ye, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not shaken in mind, nor or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter from us, as that the day of Yahweh Shai is at hand. Let no man deceive ye by any means, for that day shall not come except ye be fallen away first, and that the men of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
And that's what we're seeing, man. In these days right now, 2020 is the best year ever. Okay?
So far,
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the man of perdition has been revealed. Esau Edom ain't got a leg to stand on. These other people in other nations, look, they ready to jump on this man. Okay, like it says in
Habakkuk.
Habakkuk. What's the other one where it says
Joel.
that they should be a taunting proverb?
Isaiah the 14th chapter.
That, okay? All this is happening right now in front of your eyes. Right in front of your eyes. And if you a so-called black man in America still trusting and waiting for the white man to give you a free meal or do anything on your behalf, you're a fool, man. You're a fool. These are prophecies coming to light, man. And it says that the so-called white man, which is the nation of Edom, is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Okay?
He's a vagabond, man.
Yeah.
Right, because you know when you have a criminal, nobody wants a criminal in their society, man.
So they
the
kick him
world,
everywhere.
the world don't want no criminal like Esau, man. It so happens that we gotta wait for the Heavenly Father to come in and dictate the verdict. The verdict is gonna be slavery, and then after that, you're gonna be off.
Issue that judgment.
You should have judgment.
You know what the perfect land is for that? It was Australia. They didn't want these goddamn Edomites around civilized society in England or whatever lands they came from in the European
Right,
area.
they sent the worst of the worst. Right.
They
Even
get out of here.
Esau,
People.
yeah, their own people. Esau's divided, man. They always been divided.
Come.
Now they're divided more than ever. You know these.
White on white crime, baby.
Yeah.
Slav, I got a precept. Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 verse 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. Yeah, so we at the time that the prophets and righteous men desired to see these things, and now it's been manifested. We're seeing the downfall of Esau Edom because he's been made bare. He can't hide himself anymore. You know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, that son of perdition is being revealed, and we're seeing the downfall of his kingdom and only the rising of Jake, man. And the brother mentioned the accounts of Nick Cannon, whether Deshaun Jackson or Ice Cube. That vibration of you're an Israelite to our people is starting to be a light bulb to our.
Take root.
Yeah, come, and we're starting to wake up, man.
Yep, that seed is starting to take root, and it's affecting the average so-called Babylonian,
That's right.
the average American. You know, it's forcing people to take a look at the world in which they lived in, man.
That's right.
When that veil is rent and the filth is exposed, right? There's only so much dirt you can sweep underneath the rug before it starts to show. And when you look at America and its existence, it's been nothing but sweeping dirt underneath the rug, man. It's been hiding the wickedness and portraying it with righteousness. That's why the scripture in Habakkuk talks about the shameful glory, right? Right? It's only so much they talk about their founding fathers, but we have founding fathers that were founding fathers, the progenitors of righteousness. So we have men that we could esteem, and because the Heavenly Father put them in positions of power to be esteemed, right? Where we don't have to cover up what they did. Everything that they did was they were who they were, and we don't got to say, well, this is George Washington, and he had some slaves, he had the teeth of the slave's mouth, and he had some slaves, and yeah, he was into drinking blood and raping little girls, but he was a hero. You see, there's a stain on Esau's legacy, man.
That's right.
Why? Because he's the wicked that the Bible speaks of, and it's only a problem once you portray yourself to be righteous. You see,
That's right.
Moab is Moab, man. Look, man, we're gonna eat dogs. We're gonna do whatever we want. We're gonna shoot things at the moon. See, they never portrayed to be the Israelites. They never portrayed to be Christians. They never portrayed to be righteous. They're just heathens. But Esau, you took on the characteristics of the scriptures. You wanted to run your country that you stole off the principles, off the scriptures, man.
That's right,
So
bro.
now you're gonna get held to that same standard as the scriptures. All right, you're a conservative. Okay, let's see if you're a conservative.
Prophetically speaking, he wanted back his birthright. So he's faking it to make it. You know what I'm saying? He thinks that's going to get him back in the seat of righteousness with the Most High.
And what did the scripture say? Knowing
Yeah.
that if he would have Herod, if he would have Herod, if you had Herod to get sold his birthright, he would have rejected the blessing. You know what I'm saying? Basically, he knew what he was doing from the jump, that he was going to be rejected before he did it. But because of his lack of faith and his impatientness, he did so, man. And now he's trying, like the brother said, He's trying to get that back, man. He's trying to get that back. But it was done so the prophecy can be fulfilled.
That's it.
In a land of unrighteousness, will they not dwell righteously, man?
Yeah, and the prophetic thing was, even though he saw the baptism,
That's right.
You know
Because he
what
was
I'm
rejected.
he's rejected.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the prophetic thing in it. So no matter what you do, Edom, okay, you're not going to be accepted back into the house of the living power, which is Yahweh, and his son Yahweh Shai. Okay? And I got Habakkuk 2
Yep.
and 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith.
Yep.
Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, or enlarges his desires as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Yep.
Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his?
So, hey, so with that being said, right? Let's go into RT, right?
Yeah.
Let's go into RT. Let's go into in breaking news, and I'm almost sure we could pull
It's-
an article
I got something.
that's gonna back
Yeah.
up that scripture.
I got
Because
something
everything is about Esau, Edom right now
Right.
being rebuilt.
So before you even read that scripture, Karab, read the top chapter real quick.
The top of it?
Yep, the top of the chapter, the first verse, right?
Yep. Habakkuk 2 and 1.
Yep.
I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved.
So this is us standing on a watch on a tower, and the reason why you stand on a tower, you stand on high, is that you can get a 360 degree look, area of view of what's coming. And the further you are up, the further you can see down, and that gives you all around. That gives you an advantage because you're able to see them coming from afar, and that gives your people a time to get ready as you blow the trumpet, right?
Yeah, this is on going to RT News. All right, this says the U.S. puts $5 million bounty on President of Venezuela's Supreme Court, accusing him of corruption. It says Washington is offering $5 million for the arrest of the presiding judge of Venezuela's Supreme Tribunal of Justice, accusing Michael Morano of accepting bribe in criminal case and of being a crony of President Nicolas Maduro.
Wait a minute. So you put a bounty on him? What happened to law and order? If you accuse the man of a crime, shouldn't he see his day in court?
Yeah.
This is reminiscence of the Wild Wild West, where this is a standing government here that's putting a bounty on what second world country at best, a third world country, third world.
They made possible through what? Economic hitmen.
Yep, sanctions, right? This is South America, man. South America is starving, man. It's destitute, and it's destitute primarily not because of a lack of resources or food, but because of America basically being in power, man. You know, so that's wicked in itself, man. Go ahead, brother.
Go to the second paragraph. It says United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
And that's a
devil,
man.
Yeah, that's a wicked.
That's a bloodthirsty. That's a bloodthirsty demon, man.
He's hell bent on Venezuela.
Give me Revelation chapter 16, verse 16 real quick. Yeah, he got a personal with Venezuela, but not just a personal with Venezuela, but a personal with Iran, all right? A personal with Russia, a personal with all these different nations that the central banking families don't have established central banks in, man. You know, and this is ultimately what this comes down to. Them doing a bidding of the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, man. The international banking families that really control the earth. But ultimately, who's controlled by them? The brother's going to read it.
Revelation 16, verse 14.
Yeah.
It says Revelation 16, verse 14, for they are the spirit of devils working miracles, will go forth into the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of the Most High Almighty.
Keep going.
And it says, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame.
Keep going.
And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue, my God, my God one, and the seventh angel pour out his vial into the air.
So the scriptures will let you know that there are spirits of devils that go through forth in the earth that, you know, they whisper into the ears of these leaders to do what, man? To spark up different wars, to spark up different conflicts, economic hitmen, like the brother said, to do regime changes, in which their goal in doing regime changes is ultimately to create chaos in the world, man. You had there was an old video of Donald Rumsfeld that talked about the removal of Saddam Hussein from power. This was in the early 2000s. I was like 1990s.
Yeah.
In the 90s, when shortly after the end of the 80s,
I believe it was during the Desert Storm.
Right, shortly after the Desert Storm. And he basically said there's no point in removing Saddam, because if you remove Saddam from power, Iraq will break off into the four fascists. It'll be chaos and confusion. And then this Bush gets into power, and he does exactly what he said. So he had knowledge of it. It wasn't something that it was like a oops moment. You know, they knew what would happen, but this is what they do. They create chaos on the earth, man.
Yeah, if I may add too, there was this general called Ramsey Clark. He came out 6 years ago saying like the United States had purpose to take over Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan. So they have the blueprint all along.
I think he said 7 different countries.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
We're gonna take out 7 different countries in 7 years.
Yeah.
But we know it didn't go according to how they planned it, because nothing never goes according to they plan. Everything's according to the wills of the Heavenly Father.
Revelation 6 and verse 7 saying, and the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne saying, it is done. And verse 8 saying, and there were voices and thunder and lightning, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since man was upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake, so great.
So it's going into what, the Third World War, man.
That's right.
The destruction of this present world. But so we know that these demons got to do what they got to do, man.
I gotta appreciate it.
Go ahead, brother.
Revelation 6 and 4. And there went out another horse that was red,
Yep.
and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
That power was Esau, and it was given into his authority to do what? To take peace, and he did a damn good job of it, man.
Right. How did he take peace? Crumbling down governments.
Yep.
Iran in the 1950s, you know that it was a covert operation that took the current president of Iran. It completely demolished Iran's governmental structure.
Shah.
Right? Yeah.
So their hatred of America is not in vain.
Right.
It doesn't just come from nowhere.
Justified.
Yeah, it's justified. When you're dealing with North Korea and South Korea, you know, they hate the North Koreans hate America with great passion for a reason.
Right.
Because Esau went over there and meddled in their affairs, put sanctions on them. All right, try to divide up their territory.
Wilson, right?
That was Franklin D.
Franklin.
Roosevelt. All right, Franklin D. Roosevelt and Stalin made a pact that Stalin would invade from the north, and the Americans would invade from the south. And that at that time, that land was occupied by the Japanese, man. So once the Japanese Empire was crumbled up, give me Micah chapter 2, verse 1, real quick, Baba Kasha.
Let me finish up. And I beheld, Salakia. So it says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword.
And that was talking about Esau. It gave you a few clues and a few leads. The two major one, red, all right, symbolizing Esau's skin when he came out. Then was given to him was a great sword, which was symbolic of the blessing that Esau received. Right, that he would rule the earth, he would have the fatness of the earth, but he would do it with what? With the sword. And also his track record, which is undeniable, it speaks for itself. Going into what Nick Cannon said, everywhere these devils go, hell follows them, man. Death and destruction follows them, man. They carve up nations. They carved it was a meeting that took place, I believe it was in Germany. All right, and it basically was between the beast. All right, these European empires that basically, look, man, we got to figure out how we're going to carve up Africa, man. And that's exactly what they did. They, give me Micah.
If I may add, the Esau cannot stay still. The scriptures say that he enlarges his desire as hell.
I got you right here.
He cannot stay still. As long as these Edomites are on the planet, there will always be wars. there will always be a ruckus. There will always be some problem because they just cannot. They don't know what peace is. You know, they just don't like peace. They're anti-peace.
He said that I created the wicked for the day of destruction.
That's Habakkuk 2 and 5. That's what that was.
Yep.
Micah 2 verse 1, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in their power of their hand. And they covered fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
Yeah, even their own people, man. You dealing with Hitler and Stalin, you know, they before the invasion of Poland, hey, they carved Poland up as if it was a goddamn piece of steak. You know what I'm saying?
They made a pact, and then guess what? They violated their own pact and went against each other.
That goes back to Antiochus.
Exactly.
Who are these
people? Who are these men?
Let's identify,
Right.
right?
But that goes into the nature of Esau, though. Hitler,
Exactly.
a perfect Edomite, said, "Hold on, after we don't get Poland out, now I want Russia. I want the whole
that
Russia.
greed.
That
That
greedy.
greed.
Hitler got greedy, man. And then after that, after Russia, then he said, I'll conquer Russia by December." You know, and that pride came in. That pride. I'm gonna the big old Hitler, man.
Yeah, yeah.
He got his ass whooped.
But
man.
that's the best eat. That's the
That's
epitome
eat.
of East.
That's who he is.
That's it. Yeah.
So Isaiah 59.
Oh, Slocky, bro. Look at Americas.
Mm-hmm.
What did they say? It wasn't enough. The 13 colonies. They
Yeah.
printed their flag. But Esau was looking like 13.
Yeah, more.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then what they call it? The Westward Expansion.
Expansion, yep.
And what they call it? The Indian Removal Act. That's Micah. That's Micah. That's coveting fields and taking them away by violence, man. What,
And
brother?
also the mono doctrine, which America, like
Monroe.
the mono doctrine, right?
Yeah.
America is pretty much is the backyard of America. So
Oh,
they can go
South
down
America.
there, South America, North Central America. They can go down there pretty much to take advantage of the natural sources of this country.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And that happened when what? When Russia tried to get up in Cuba and tried to doing what Esau was doing. And what did they say? Look, we got to make sure that we control South America. That's our backyard, and we don't want nobody over there. And then you see, with that being your backyard, South America is complete in shambles, man.
Fucked up.
The murder rate in
Mexico.
Guatemala, the murder rate in Mexico,
Honduras.
the murder rate in
Honduras.
Honduras is through the roof.
Not even Iraq. Not even
Right,
Iraq has a
right. In a state of war, because
Right.
why? That's Jake, and it's an active genocide that's taking place. Puerto Rico, all right. What's happening in the island of Puerto Rico is an atrocity to the wildest degree, right? Here, when in a pandemic, you know, Esau gives American citizens pandemic assistance and unemployment assistance. If you're a Puerto Rican citizen, you can't get pandemic assistance, man. You can't get that. Their tax rate that they pay, 7%, is the highest anywhere on the planet, man.
Right.
Their murder rate is through the roof, and there's no noise about it. Why? Because they are the children of Israel, man. They are the Israelites.
And that's why they had to kill like Chavez. They had to try to remove Fidel. Why? And look, Cuba had the best doctors. You know, when Russia came in, Fidel was smart. He said, "Look, man, Cuba was a strategic missile place. You know, you could send a nuke to Miami in 10 seconds. See? And look, and Cuba got the best doctors, and when Chavez was president of Venezuela, Venezuela was rich.
Right.
They were rich, super rich. Why? Because they're one of the leading nations of oil.
OPEC.
So,
They're
the
in
OPEC.
OPEC.
So how the hell if you got what everybody needs, what keeps the world moving, how are you poor?
That's sanctions.
How are you poor?
Sanctions.
Why? Because the United States, man. That's that hammer that these elites use, man. That hammer of the earth. That's what the scriptures say. When this place goes down, how's the hammer of the earth cut asunder?
Yep.
Why? Because America, the hammer of the earth, is gonna get ganged up by all these nations. Are gonna get tired of the big bad bully, and they're all gonna launch missiles over here.
Hey,
man.
what's that saying?
Mhm.
To a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Like a nail.
And that's America. Everything looks like a target to America. She has no limits to what she would do and how far she'll go to conquer, to steal, to kill, and to oppress.
And that's why every time they come up with a solution, right, it's always war on crime, war on poverty,
War on everything.
war on drugs,
Yeah.
war on everything.
everything,
That's all
That's
they
their
know.
mind
That's
frame.
all they
That's,
know.
but hey, that's that power. That's that red power where everything that they see is war. And then when they spark the war, guess what always happens? It always intensifies. So when there's a war on drugs, Did the drug usage in America go down? Did the drug dealer in America? No, it shot up. When they did the war on terrorism, did terrorism go down? No, it intensified, man. The war on poverty. Who was that? Who declared the war on poverty? Was that Johnson? And that was the biggest devil, right? Johnson said, I'm gonna have these niggas voting Democrat for 60 years, right? Because Johnson was set up to do what? To serve as a pacifier to Jake. You know, we're gonna get Martin Luther King in here, sign some Civil Rights Act so that you niggas can stop marching and trying to move on your own to keep the eat out of our hands, man.
And then, but then came what? The war on drugs. And ultimately that war on drug was what? The war on Jake. That was all it was, the war on Jake. Because who was the one pumping these drugs into the neighborhoods, man? It was all in cahoots with the CIA, the Colombian cartels. All of them were working in conjunction.
Yep.
And they were the one pumping these drugs into the hoods, man. And then that would give Esau pretense to go into the hood, round niggas up, kill niggas left and right, beat niggas up,
Kicking in your door,
kicking
mass
your door.
incarceration.
Yup.
Hey, your boy Biden, which passed. Hey, he bragged about it. The three strikes. He said that's Biden's law. The three strikes law. He drafted that thing, and Bill Clinton was the one who signed it into play. Where you have Bill Clinton who apologized for it, Biden standing behind it. He's standing behind it. And guess who's your presidential running your candidate for the Democrat? This guy, this devil, man.
The devil, exactly. Which ultimately that war on drug had a trickle effect, because now you remove the Jake father from the home. What do you got? You got broken up homes. You got kids in the system. You got all kinds of shit, man. There's no way that you can or a nation can excel or supersede itself without the father in the home, man. That's not happening.
This is Isaiah chapter 14 verse 4. It says, thou should take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the ruler. He who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. So that's Esau ruled the nations in anger. The war on drugs, like you said, it killed two birds with one stone, because now we're able to be justified on why we're going down to Cuba and Venezuela and these nations and create all kind of cane, man. Because these are the poppy seeds. These are the poppy seeds and the cocoa leaves. These are who doing it. These illegal aliens that are shipping drugs into the nations. Now we could blame Jake. You know what I'm saying, for the nation's problem.
Yeah, if I may add too, any leaders who wants to do good for the people, America don't like that, man. America don't like that. That's why they in the Caribbean, Haiti, or Venezuela, Cuba, because any leader that wants to do good for the people, America don't like popular democracy. They don't like people sending off for their own people. They don't like that. They want you to be pretty much look out for the major companies, you know, interests of the corporation.
That's what is that's what democracy is, man. That's what what do you call it? Damn, what's that word? Capitalism.
Capitalism.
That's what capitalism is. It's a small dog, bigger dog eats small dog society, man. And fuck anybody else. It's only about the rich.
And it's really to ensure that the people that's in power stay in power. So when you consider capitalism, that's what that is. It derived from a system of slavery. So it was a system to keep so-called. When you look at the Constitution is a document to ensure that the people that are in power remain in power, and the people that have no power get no power. So the laws, the black codes, the Constitution, the amendments, the Bill of Rights, that was all documents set up that Esau could remain in power. And look at the economic system of it. It was capitalism, where when you go into certain parts of the South, you see big mansions, huge houses with huge lands, and right next to those mansions, you see little houses. Then you see huge houses, right? Then you see little houses. But what was that? That was slave quarters, because they knew that in these big houses you needed people to serve. But that's what capitalism is. It's I'm rich, and hey, if you could get rich, get rich. But if you can't, you can't. But what you need to get rich in a capitalist society, you need capital. And what this Esau does, he prevents us from getting that capital. Any access to capital, he rejects us. Systematically, because we're rejected from receiving certain loans and certain grants that other people are allowed to just come in here and to get. You know, it's all by design.
Right. And they always like to say, oh, Jake should just, what do you call that?
Pull
phrase?
yourselves up by the
By
bootstrap.
the bootstrap. But if it was such ease, then the economic playing field should be leveled, right? You think that the white people should and black people should have the same amount of wealth, right? Or whoever comes here should have the same amount of wealth, right? If the system was so easy for you to climb up the ladder, that's what it should be. But no, it's the opposite way, man. Where Jake is always at the bottom. Going to that parable of the beggar and Lazarus. Yeah, that we man, let's get that, man.
Let's get that.
You
And
know?
you mentioned that pull yourselves up by the bootstrap. We tied up their bootstraps and pulled them up and asked for a hand to get a hand, and we couldn't get it.
Right, because all the capitals for all these big corporations like Levi Jeans, what else?
Lehman Brothers,
yeah,
Johnson and Johnson, all established by what?
What? But
Slavery.
Slavery.
Yeah, slavery, man.
Yeah.
The revolutionary industry was powered by slavery. It couldn't. This industry of the locomotive, the trains, the machines, factories. It could not have been started without slavery, man.
Speaking of the Lehman Brothers, there's a show called Black Monday, and they're in it, played by two Khazars, and they're going over their stock, and they're telling how their stock started. And one brother's like, well, our stock originally started with people.
Right.
And he's talking to the Jake dude who plays another stockbroker. He's basically letting them know that that's how their stock started. It started with them trading
so-called
people.
Jews, man.
Yeah.
These so-called Jews are the biggest devils in the world, man. They have their noses up and everything. You know, that's why Hitler wanted to off all of y'all, man.
Hey,
You know?
on Wall Street, the first commodity that was sold on Wall Street was a person, man.
Yeah.
The stock was the people. So you niggas looking at all these numbers on a board, and Esau's looking at people, man. But that's how Esau. And now he's being revealed. You looking you go online and you thinking that this is a goddamn cabinet, all right, for $13,000 or $23,000. That's a goddamn person, man. You know, you talk about you go into your work job and you go into the human resources office. What do you think the human resources is? It's you. You got your birth certificate and your social security. That's proof of a possession, man. When you own your car, if you leasing it, what you get? You get a title, which is possession and ownership. Without those two things, you don't own a motherfucking thing, man. A deed to a house. Right? Go ahead, brother.
Karnak, and how wicked that is, how he gets you is, even if you pay it off, they still get you with the taxes. The same with your home. You could have your home paid off. The minute you fall behind on taxes, they'll
Lean on your shit.
they'll put a lien on your shit and sell your shit and get the new sucker in there. And
After you done paid for it. And this is after you paid for your house, right?
That's wickedness.
After you paid for your house. That's wickedness, man.
usury.
Eminent domain. Where the government could come in and be like, look, this is your land, this is your property, but eminent domain, we taking this. But it goes back to Gad. What did they do with Gad, man? And that's basically was eminent domain, man.
Yeah.
We're taking your land, and there's nothing you can do about it. Andrew Jackson
Andrew
defied
Jackson,
Congress.
Congress.
They told him they said, look, man, you got the Supreme Court. They said, look, we got to honor these treaties. Andrew Jackson said, well, why don't you send the Supreme Court and tell them to come stop me, man? And that was coming in the spirit of Trump. Trump is in that spirit of, man, he gonna do whatever the hell he want to do, but he's gonna defy orders, man. He don't care. I'm gonna lock these so-called Mexicans up into cages, and where you have these judges saying, look, this is unconstitutional, you can't do this. Trump is saying the hell with that, man. He's giving orders to ICE to continue on as business as usual.
I got you right there. This is Jeremiah 50 and 23. It says, the sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?
And the result of all this is going to be ultimately the destruction of America. It's justified. We don't just say death to America or America's going to be destroyed just for no goddamn reason, man. It's justification to this, man. These devils got well-organized sex trafficking, I don't know what the hell you call this shit, man.
It's crazy.
Sex trafficking corporations that's well lucrative, that's ran like a well-oiled machine, man.
Man, you know them. Their storefronts is known throughout the whole state, country that we live in. What you got Wayfair,
Amazon involved.
Amazon.
And then the connections. Look at the connections as the CEO to Wayfair,
Exactly.
to certain companies that supposedly adopt
Yep,
kids
children,
from
yep.
overseas. and the guys are protecting them. People don't know that there's a huge lawsuit against the the Boy Scouts, man, behind basically an elaborate plan for sexual predators that are sign up to be a scout leader,
counselor, some
and
shit like
yeah,
that.
they got these little boys in poom shorts and they're molesting these little boys, man. Churches, right?
Same shit.
This thing.
The Catholic Church.
Matter.
same thing.
And that's just here in America, not to mention these third world countries, these poor places, man.
Yeah.
Where they go in, these Edomites, Thailand, it's a big example.
Yep.
They go to
that's
Thailand,
Singapore.
Singapore, they go over there, man.
Yeah.
These devils, they grab whatever their heart's desires, man. Their hearts is filled with wickedness, man.
You know, like the dogs in my flock.
Yeah, 20 chapter. Welcome.
Yeah.
So this thing is all out in the open now.
Open, man.
Yeah.
Okay, when you read Isaiah the 47th chapter, hey man, Esau is trying to run and hide underneath a rock, but there's scriptures for that too, man.
Like the cartoons, they be trying to hide in stupid ass spaces.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, behind the curtains. Yeah.
Scooby
Ass
Doo.
sticking out, Scooby Doo. Yeah. You expose E, man. You the devil. You are the devil. Look, man. If we gotta wait for another devil, you the it, man.
You the man.
You it.
And I can get this real quick.
Yeah.
This is from RT News, and this is posted today, actually the 21st. And it says, "We'll never forget. Iran's supreme leader meets Iraqi prime minister and vows to strike a blow to the United States in revenge for killing of Soleimani."
But what's that going into? That's Look, man. These heathens are plotting your downfall, man. They're meeting up with one thing on their mind, man, is to fulfill prophecy, and is how can we deliver a blow to these devils? China, they get every day on the news. They're coming out on how they're not with you, invading you in the Southeast China Sea, man. That's their lands. That's their territory. It's going to happen, man.
The thing is, the Lord is just holding the winds going into the scriptures because there's still, the RFID got to come out, the RFID microchip, members of the elect, got to be sealed, So hey, man, but once the Lord gives that green light, man, these nations, they're gonna have a field day, man. They're gonna be so happy to push that button. I know that devil Kim Jong-un is can't wait for it, man.
Yeah, he got new missiles
Yeah.
to try out.
If I may add to, you have Donald Trump, right? He wants to have Hong Kong retain autonomous right. He wants Hong Kong to be no longer part of China. That's one of the law that he recently came up with. So these devils, man, they out there causing all kind of mischief and chaos, man. This nation pretty much they are fed up of this devil's worship, man. They are about to go here.
Now I want to mention a quote that's in that article, and this is from the Iranian leader Ayatollah, and it says, "They killed your guest at your house and explicitly confessed to the crime." It says, Ayatollah said, adding that the United States and its agents are always looking for a power vacuum in the region to create chaos and pave the way for their intervention.
That's it.
Look at
That's it.
Muammar Gaddafi.
Yep.
Same thing happened to him. Them devils went over there. They scouted out. What's that dude? Tony. What's his name? That was in England.
Tony Blair.
Tony Blair. He went to his house,
That's it.
and then soon after that, they murdered this man on national TV.
Yo, and Libya was, Libya would give, you have a baby, the government will hit you off, you know what I'm saying? You get married, they'll hit you off.
They hit you off $22,000 if you was buying a house.
Yep.
They'll put money down, free education.
The oil was subsidized,
Yep.
And the funny thing too, it just goes to show how he gets down to where he's putting a bounty on the Supreme of Venezuela. Well, where's his bounty at for all the shit that he went and did?
Hey, Iraq got a goddamn hit on Trump. Iran.
Yeah.
The water, bro. Iran got a hit on Trump, man.
So he got a warrant, a world warrant.
Warrant for his arrest. There's a video posted on
Hey, man,
Facebook.
it just shows you how low America is, man. America is being shown that it's nothing but criminals running this place, man.
They said I'm gonna laying down on it.
I got it, bro. So Isaiah 59 verse 7, and it says, "The feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood."
Yeah, their feet run to evil, man. when Esau's running, is running to some evil. He ain't going to help you out.
Hell no.
And the scriptures say even he gonna come like he gonna help you out.
Yeah.
Haiti was a good example of that, man.
Huh.
Haiti was a good example of that, man. When that earthquake happened,
Yeah.
you know, they saw the opportunity to go in there and sweep in and take some oil, man. And they waking up there, the little girl that was talking to Conan O'Brien. He said, "Look, man, we don't want you Americans here, man. Every time y'all coming to steal. There's a lot of Levites that are in the islands of Jeffrey Epstein and in these secret dungeons of these elite. They love praying. Bill Clinton stayed in Haiti, man.
Yeah, matter of
I
fact,
think
You got land down there.
Hillary Clinton was one of the first ones to respond to the earthquake, man.
Yeah.
I remember that, and she's the one that been very exposed with these emails and all this shit.
Yeah. At
You
that
know?
time, she was the Secretary of State.
Secretary of State,
Yeah, she was down there very much regularly. You know what I'm saying? Even before she was heavily involved with politics, she
They
got
love
married
Haiti.
down there in Haiti.
They love Haiti,
Yeah,
man.
it's
They love Haiti. Esau love, and we talked about that's that jealousy, man.
Yeah.
Where it's a confusion of the love versus hate.
I got it right here. This is Job 20:10. It says, "His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust." Okay, so when you look at it, they always gonna have that. Oh yeah, we're here to help. You know, we're gonna bring goods to you, but behind their back, you know, that's like the scriptures say, war is always in their heart.
Right. Saint, and you have Africa, the richest continent on the planet, resources wise, easily. Diamonds, platinum,
Yeah,
ruby, gold, oil. Everything is established in this continent, but Esau takes their natural resources and in turn gives them aid.
Yeah.
You know, and
Where's
that's
the money?
gives them aid. You know, you don't need to give them no aid, man. But that's them trying to, the children trying to seek to please the poor, man. We'll take all your resources and we're gonna give you aid, little welfare, cheese, and care packages.
Yeah, put you more enslaved because like there's a book that came out a while ago, Confession of an Economic Hitman. It gave you like Esau come up with a strategy to take over this country. It gave you a loan with heavy debt attached to it. And once you can pay the loan, that's what Esau sent his military armies goes down there and take the natural resources of the country, man.
That's it.
You know, that's how Esau works, man.
That's it.
Karnak, and it shows you in the movie Lord of War how with Nicolas Cage how they were supplying like the different fractions in Africa. So that's why most of that beef is just them just supplying them with
Both
weapons.
sides. Yep.
Yeah, it's just
Esau's demonic, man.
That's the Rothschilds.
They're demonic, funding both sides of the war. And they done that with their own people, man.
Because they can stand to make money.
That's how they got into power, the Rothschilds.
That's it. Same way.
The war between France and France and Britain.
Britain. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Because these nations, I mean, like there's a saying in the word says, "There's no honor among thieves." So Esau, he that is evil to himself, to whom will do the good, man. So these devils dealt with the treacherously. What makes you think they're gonna treat you right, man? That's
They
how
can't
Esau
treat
works.
each other right, man.
Yeah, man.
I was watching a documentary on was it World War One, man. World War One was one of the, hands down one of the bloodiest war that ever been, man. And that was what white on white crime to the finest, man.
And that was based off of them trying to
Yeah.
figure out how to fight. They couldn't figure out how to slice the pie.
How to slice it.
By the time of World War One, 19th century, they had the whole world in their palm, man.
Right.
In their palm, they had tanks, they had guns, military might. They had the whole world in their palm,
Right.
and it got to the point where they had conquered all of the world, and then they just started looking at each other like, shit, nigga, you got a little bit too much land. You got a little bit too much land. Then they started fighting one another.
That sound like what's called and his boys.
Yeah, Alexander did a good job. He conquered the whole world. What, 13 years?
12 years.
12 years? Set it up, and they conquered it. You gonna get this, you get that, you got that, and then they just started looking like, I like your land, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And they started going to war with each other.
And that's what's gonna set us apart from every other kingdom. In the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna act as one, man. One body under one rulership, man. And that's why we will never be able to be thrown down. You can't.
And the beauty of that is it tells you in the book of Obadiah. It tells you Judah's gonna get this, Manasseh's gonna get that, Simeon's gonna get that. It tells you, and then it's in the law. What does it say? Basically,
Cover
cover thy neighbor's land. So we ain't gonna, Judah ain't gonna be looking at Benjamin like,
Yeah, we
we
don't
get
see-
24 acres, hypothetically speaking, or you know what I'm saying? Let me go to. No, we're gonna be happy with what they got, man. We're gonna be content with what we got. We're gonna thank the Lord, Yahweh, for what we got, man. What He gave us, and we're gonna dwell in unity, man.
That's the law.
That's the law.
And the law is in our inward parts, and it says, "Seek not to remove another man's."
That's
boundaries."
right.
Yeah, that's right.
His heritage, his
Yeah.
landmark.
Landmarks.
That's
Yeah.
wicked, man.
What the fuck are you doing over here, man?
That's
This
wicked.
is my porch.
Yeah.
What are you doing on my porch?
You got
You know what I'm saying?
tribes that's in Africa. They've been there for years.
And they had no war.
Years.
Until
Like,
the
this is
Civil
our
War.
land, this is our tribe, this is our village, and Esau will go and be like, yo, no, y'all got some land over here, but that land over there
They got a lot
would
more
be
than-
nice.
Yeah.
Can give you some guns and put that thought where naturally, oh, this has been our land for years, man. But Esau put that thought, and now they fighting each other.
Yep.
Well, wait a minute, where these guns coming from? Where these AKs? That's a what's a how you say pronounce that name, bro?
It's a Russian.
Yeah. Where that nigga at in Africa, right? A Colt. That's a person, man. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that's a person, man. Smith and Wesson. That's,
You even
that
got
ain't
the
just
Winston.
a company. That's a name of a Edomite, man.
You have the Winchester rifle.
Yeah, the Winchester. That's a man, you know. He's fingerprint. We say all the time, your fingerprints is all over, bro.
That's right.
You left DNA, saliva, cum,
Everything.
and your rape victims, you know, fingerprints on weapons.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
So Isaiah 59 verse 7, the feet run to evil and they make haste to shed innocent blood. The thoughts are thoughts of iniquity, wasting instruction are in the path. The way of peace they know not. There is no judgment in the going. They have made them crooked path. Whosoever go therein shall not know peace.
Hey, bro, can you read that again, Bubba? Cause that's a beautiful scripture, bro. We talk about these books and these precepts that identify who He is, man. And man, that's one of them, man. Their feet run to mischief. They don't know. That's what, again, war. Everything is war. Oh, we need peace, you know. War and peace. War and everything, man.
So Isaiah 59 verse 7, the feet run to evil and they make haste to shed innocent blood.
Yeah, they don't waste no time, man. What they call it, casualties of war.
Yeah.
And so much they call them friendly fire. Tell me you ain't the devil. What? Oh, that's a friendly fire. You think if you ain't know no better, a friendly fire, you know? What's a friendly fire? When they kill their own people in attempts of killing somebody else, because that's how they rock. If they got to do a close airstrike to take
They'll
out
do
some
it.
insurgents, they'll do it.
You spin.
They'll do it.
If you trapped out there behind that line,
They'll
Enemy
do it.
line, yeah, they gone.
And they invented that parachuting. They did that just so they could put their troops behind enemy lines, man. That's some wicked shit, man. That's some wicked. That's priority, man.
yeah.
You drop your men off behind enemy lines in a goddamn parachute. Go ahead, bro.
And then you turn around and tell them if they get caught, don't tell
yeah,
them.
yeah.
I don't
You
tell
said
you
wanna
from the
goddamn-
U.S.
Look, nigga, you get caught. We're gonna deny your ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't know you. Yeah, you been compromised, nigga. We don't know you. You know.
Everything is an asset to this man. That's what they call it, asset. Everything is disposable.
This,
Man.
yep.
This man don't think about his neighbor. This man doesn't think about anything.
You're a resource.
Yeah, you're just a resource.
Your commodity. Your stock. Your cattle. Especially with them Jews, man. They goyim. You're nothing. Don't give a fuck about. You give a fuck about us, man.
Useless eater, that's what they call them.
It
Insignificant.
wastes of oxygen.
It's
man.
oxygen, yeah.
When in reality they're the presidents, man. They're the ones that you know is that named Bauer, man. That Meyer M. Bauer, right? He's that word goes into what? Into present, man.
And that's Esau.
That's Esau. You're a
That's
peasant.
the incarnation of
The
Esau.
incarnation of Esau, man. This man is a peasant and he's gonna return back to his natural state.
If I may enter, right, when he sucked him out, right, the scripture says the elder shall serve the younger. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's Esau.
Servitude.
Yeah, servitude.
Slavery.
Slavery.
Employee.
Yeah.
Master, right?
That capitalism is turning into slavery. It's gonna be a slave again.
We're gonna show you capitalism.
Yeah.
All right.
But they're trying to, like it says in Job, 20, I believe, where it says he fills his belly.
2023.
Yeah, somebody grab that real quick, because this is what the RFID microchip is about. That's what this pandemic was about. Okay, they want you in dire straits so they can do what? So they can take over your household, their laws, okay, their financial well-being. They want to do all this in one fell swoop, man. And that's not how a person should live. A person can't live like that, man. Okay, without no comforts of self, not self, but you know what I'm saying?
Self-sustainability.
Yeah, sustainability. What is that?
Self-sustainability.
Must I live out of the pocket of another man all my life?
Hey, but that's the scripture. That's the spirit. 'Cause what did Yahweh say to Adam?
Yeah.
He blessed him. He put him on earth, and he gave him the ability to be what? Sufficient.
Sufficient.
Told him how to
Gave him
plant.
the fruits.
Yeah, told him how to
everything.
plant. Told him the animals. You know, told him what he could eat, what he could eat. But that's all. That's all you should do as a governor is to make sure people, self-sustainable.
That's it. Somebody got that in Job?
I got it. Well, you got it. Well, Job 20:23, and when he's about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he's eating.
That's right. So Esau, you don't have a chance. Okay? With all your schemes and everything going in the background with your Bilderberg groups, with your try to do world domination, depopulation, all these things, they're gonna come to naught, man. You're dealing with a power that knows you better than you know yourself, man. And that's the catch right there, in a nutshell.
Hey, think about how that it hit me when you said you mentioned the depopulation,
Yeah.
and obviously it comes to mind is Bill Gates. But the promise was that we would multiply as the sand of the sea. And he was a man that he couldn't lie, so he swore upon himself. And these devils is like taking him up on his challenge, man. These devils are like trying to spit in his face
In his eye.
and say like, look, like, yeah, this is what you want to do, but this is what we're gonna do, and then move forward with their population. That's pride, man. That's pride, man. That's pride, man.
Got that right here. It's Ecclesiasticus, book of Sirach 10 and 12. It says, the beginning of pride is when one depart from Yahweh, and his heart is turned away from his maker. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrow them utterly.
There's a list of strange calamity. America, Babylon the Great. This place is filled with all manner of wickedness, man. Okay, when you read Psalms and it says that we're in the shadow of the valley of death,
Yep.
anything could happen to you here, man. You can walk outside and a goddamn car hit you when you're crossing the street, or somebody running down the street can gun you down.
Death is everywhere.
Everywhere around here, man. Okay? That's why we keep on telling you Israelites, the elect of the nation of Israel, you gotta repent, man. And you gotta turn and face your offenses and be on the offense, man. By repenting, man. That's what you have to do. This place is gonna get, it's dangerous now, but it's about to be the time of Jacob's trouble where you can't escape no danger. What's that scripture that we always used to read? You run from a snake. Somebody
5:11.
read it.
Yeah,
Because that's what time we're entering into, man.
That's right.
This is deadly out here.
You got it, bro? Amos chapter 5, verse 11, and it says,
5 and 18.
5 and 18, like Amos 5 and 18, it says, and it reads, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light, as if a man did flee from a lion in a bear met him, or went into a house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark, and no brightness in it?
That's right. So everything that was said in that scripture right there, from the darkness, okay, coming into the light, from you running from a snake, and a bear met you, okay. Look, man, these are deadly sayings that the Most High Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shah is trying to bring into your ears, man. Because this place is going to get a hell of a lot worse, man. Okay, we already in the worst case scenarios, but you know what I'm saying? It's going to get more ugly, man. People about to start eating people out here, man. Any day now. Let a grocery store close down in your demographical area, or Walmart close down in your demographical area. All right? What's going to happen? Okay? And we're not talking about a matter of days. We're talking about weeks, months. And then they talk about rations. It ain't going to go down like that, man. think Esau Edom's going to bring you rations? He don't give a goddamn if you eat shoe leather. And that's the way it's going to go, man. You know? These are going to be terrible, terrible times coming, man. And nobody's paying attention. We just finished talking about capitalism, how the hammer's going to be broke. Well, they want to break the hammer. That's what they want to do. That's their major plan. Their major plan is to break the hammer, so you have to go get that enslavement chip, that RFID microchip in your hand, man. Okay? They want to change the RFN, okay? Federal Reserve Note FRN, Salaki. They want to change that. They're going to make it real hard for you out here to prosper. And they always been doing it. They had systematically imposed before, but now it's going to be different. It's going to be so much different that you can't even panhandle on the street no more. And that's something that's killing the whole vibe right there. You done. You know? Anybody got anything else? So with that, we want to say all praises due to Yahweh. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to all you brothers teaching the truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe, underneath the banner and the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Apakadash. With that, we want to say Shalom.
Shalom.